reported party.
Stand by. We are trying to call back for a description.
Take it off on me. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Copy.
Woke up quick at about noon.
Welcome. This is The Lowdown.
You ready for the lowdown? It must be 12 o'clock. My station's on live. Take your positions. Time for D-Lo. J. Ross and I again. We'll play your face.
The Lowdown with Damien, Barling, and Jason Ross.
Noon to 3 o'clock. You know they hot just from the intro. This the lowdown.
The Lowdown.
And welcome into the January 23rd edition of The Drive with The Lowdown. I'm Damien Barling, along with the best there is, the best there was, and the best that there ever will be. Jason Herbert Walker Ross, we are glad to be here today. Of course, with Kyle Matson as well. You can watch us live online if you'd like to, khdk.com. You can see what goes on behind the scenes, and you can see us scrambling during commercial breaks. I really wish people could have seen a live stream of a text exchange that went on last night as we were floating ideas out for today's show. I had an idea of posing a question about Mariano Rivera. I thought, can a fist fight break out in a group text? Because if it can, it was about to happen last night.
It did.
And that'll be a strong topic of conversation here today with Mariano Rivera. We put a Facebook question up. Where does Mariano Rivera rank amongst the greatest baseball players of all time? And I will tell you what my original question was that sparked a fight between a couple of Yankees fans, an A's fan, and just a innocent bystander, which was me.
Mm-hmm.
I just had an idea.
Or instigator, however you want to phrase it.
I just had an idea. My first obligation is to make sure that we put on the best show possible.
Yeah.
I thought, hey, I think there's a conversation here about Mariano Rivera.
Oh, we had one.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And not suitable for radio conversation, but we had one. And it continued. Oh, okay. We'll explain all of this as the day rolls along. Obviously, this has to do with Mariano Rivera getting into the Hall of Fame. More specifically, everybody knew Mariano Rivera was going to get into the Hall of Fame. The question was, would he get in with 100% of the voting? Mariano Rivera is the only guy I've thought for years some smartass is going to not vote Derek Jeter in. Maybe. And again, I think that's worth discussing here today. But, Jason, we had a conversation privately before going on the air yesterday about what to do with the Hall of Fame announcement. And I think the only thing you and I really talked about is, would Rivera get in with 100%, and what dopey sports writer is going to come out with a column about why he didn't vote for him?
Right.
And it didn't happen. And I wonder if that means there's a shift now. If we're finally shifting out of the nonsense that has plagued the Baseball Hall of Fame for so many years. I heard Mike Greenberg say before the show started, as we were watching Get Up, you can say the same exact words but make it mean two different things. Mariano Rivera is the first Hall of Fame inductee with 100% of the voting. Or Mariano Rivera is the first inductee with 100% of the voting?
Right.
Like, wait a minute. Cal Ripken didn't? And you could go back, name it.
Yeah.
Nolan Ryan didn't?
Pick your guy. Babe Ruth.
Babe
whoever.
Ruth didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whoever.
Overrated.
But pick whatever guy you want to pick. Pick that guy, and you could definitely do it. But I don't think this resolves kind of the warts of the Baseball Hall of Fame and the voting.
Discussion worth having.
I think the internet has done a really nice job of scaring people into getting dragged for their votes.
But this,
because I think Griffey came 3 votes short of unanimous, and those people got.
Is it
pretty
transparent?
thoroughly.
Is the Baseball Hall of Fame transparent? It is.
Yeah,
so you have to submit your ballot. You have to state who you voted for.
And the shaming is real.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that's what
rightfully
happened.
so.
Real. Yeah.
And
rightfully so.
That's
Because
where we are now.
Okay, well,
Like,
good
if you
then.
think a person should be in the Hall of Fame, there's no reason to not vote for them out of some tradition of not giving a guy unanimous votes.
You're a
What?
baseball writer and you don't vote for the best player, Mariano Rivera, your vote should be stripped immediately.
I agree.
Whether it's Rivera or it's Ken Griffey Jr. or it's Derek Jeter next year or it's whoever, your vote should be stripped immediately. And if I was your media outlet, you'd be fired.
It's pretty classic baseball, though, to adhere to norms that just don't make sense.
But that's what I mean. That like the Hall of
Anymore,
Fame,
right?
the Hall of Fame encompasses the antiquated issues that plague baseball.
Yeah.
And whether it's unwritten rules or whatever other nonsense that happens on a yearly basis on the baseball field where we're left scratching our head like, wait a minute, what happened? Oh, you're not allowed to do that? Where, since when? Oh, it's an unwritten rule. Okay. That's baseball's issue every year.
Yeah.
All the time. And the Hall of Fame is the same way. Or maybe was.
Yeah, and I think yesterday was an interesting day for that because you had the first ever unanimous in Rivera. But also, I just think it's weird, just the whole premise that, okay, Edgar Martinez is in. So once you're in, you're either in the club or you're not. It was in year 10, the final one. And maybe over time that he gets past that because he's a Hall of Famer. But for 9 years, he was waiting and waiting and waiting and getting closer. I guess today he feels like a Hall of Famer. That's a weird feel. Like, to me, I don't know that it has to be what number of years, but feels like, are you in or you're not? Like, you're a Hall of Famer or you're not in, but 10 years to get there, that's just a weird premise that the whole thing has, to me.
Do you know Joe DiMaggio didn't get in until his third ballot?
Really?
That's crazy, dude.
I didn't know that.
That's wild to me. Like, the Baseball Hall of Fame voting process, this is not a new thing.
Harold Baines is a Hall of Famer.
And when Jason talks about, does Edgar Martinez feel like a Hall of Famer today, how does Harold Baines feel?
Right.
Like, not only...
Who cares? It's Harold Baines. Dude, Harold Baines should wake up thankful.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm going into the Baseball Hall of Fame in the same class that Mariano Rivera is going in.
I'm sure he does.
But I'm Harold Baines.
Yeah. It's like we've always said different levels. I mean, he's in the same club by definition of pick whatever DiMaggio we mentioned, Mantle, Ruth, Mays, Rivera. I mean, and Harold Baines.
Harold Baines.
Maybe we had suggested the tiers, like Mariano Rivera's in the penthouse of the Hall of Fame. Maybe the tiers are based on how many years it took you to get in. The penthouse is the first year.
Yeah.
That's where you are. And then you kind of, like Harold Baines, you actually walk into the Hall of Fame and you have to go downstairs to see Harold Baines play.
They have an annex or portable off to the side.
Yeah.
Now, Harold Baines is on...
The annex over by Kelly and Ryan.
Yeah.
Harold Baines is on the...
Office reference.
Yes, well done.
Bang.
Harold
A
Baines is on
tradition
the...
unlike any other.
He's on the plaque outside that
You're
don't
trying
have to
to
pay
get this
see.
point in and ignore.
I really am.
You got it, buddy. Let's go. Come on.
No, it's over. No, it's over now. No, it's fine.
No,
it's fine.
You get 10 tries at it.
But then I don't feel like I made a good point.
But Harold Baines does.
I don't know that it's going to get better than this. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Am I the Harold Baines of this show?
Absolutely
man.
not. Absolutely. Edgar Martinez, maybe.
You don't want to be the Derek Jeter, apparently.
No.
Dude.
No.
Oh, the hate is real. Holy crap,
I don't
the hate is real.
him. He's just overrated. It's fine.
Okay.
Or are you talking about Jason's hate towards me is real?
Dude, just wait till there's another Yankee fan in here.
Oh, I can't. I'm
Because if
excited.
you think those texts that you got in the group text were intense, you should have seen the ones that she didn't send. That were sent directly to me. Like, oh, I don't feel like I can send this to the group, so I'm just going to tell you. Didn't paint you in a very nice light.
Be afraid.
So we'll have some fun with that conversation all throughout the morning. We'd love to hear from you as always. I don't know who likes talking on the phone at 6 a.m., but if you'd like to call the Fire Wings hotline, you're more than welcome to. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Of course, this program airs all over the world, so it may very well be 9:10 a.m. where you are. It could be 8:10. It could be 7:10. If you're listening in Hawaii, God bless you.
Mm-hmm.
But we appreciate you so much for being with us. The Jiffy Lube text line is already rolling here at 441140. Send us your thoughts. We'll get into the Facebook question. We'll get into the question that I didn't post today as well. And what about the guys that weren't put in? I think I noticed something really interesting about this particular Hall of Fame class and the narrative that surrounds it. Before we get to Kings basketball, and if you're just tuning in, obviously – there was nothing fun to talk about last night. Well, there is one key thing I think that's worth discussing. I want to mention we have a country mega ticket. Actually, we've got a couple of country mega tickets to give away. It's a pair of tickets for shows Brad Paisley, Rascal Flatts, Luke Bryan, Dirks Bentley. These are all names that I actually know and like.
Mega ticket.
Florida Georgia Line. I like Rascal Flatts. Luke Bryan. This is pretty good stuff right here.
Okay.
We're going to be giving this country mega ticket away a couple of times throughout the day. 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock. We'll get you all set. Of course, coming up at 8:40, your chance to qualify for the Big Game Dream Party presented by Mel Rapton Honda.
What's your favorite Luke Bryan song?
I don't know any of them.
There's just too many.
I know they can jam, though. I know Brad Paisley can jam. I know Rascal Flatts can jam. All we're missing is Sugarland. The girl in Sugarland can sing. Or sang.
I know what that means.
S-A-N-G. Like, she can go. Jennifer Nettles, I think, is her name.
Yeah, it is.
I guess do we have to go to this part of the show now?
What's that?
This sucks. Like, suddenly talking about the Kings isn't fun anymore. Like, we've reverted back to last year, and I'm not enjoying this at all. This has been a terrible road trip for the Sacramento Kings, and my gosh, if Buddy Hield doesn't regroup that ball, and hit that three-pointer that the G-Man called so eloquently, and you did a fantastic job reenacting on the live stream yesterday, by the way, this would be a disastrous trip for the Sacramento Kings. I'm not sure that it isn't already, but they go back to 500. They're 24-24. Dave Joerger essentially punted against the Toronto Raptors, and please don't call or text and tell me how close the game was for a half or whatever. Like, they knew what they were doing when they were sitting De'Aaron Fox and some of the other plays that they did. Jason, we're going to step out. We're going to come back, and we're going to get into the Sacramento Kings 120-105 loss yesterday. We're just getting started here. It's the Lowdown filling in on the drive.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Drive. I'm Cody Baylor from The Lowdown. If you want to give us a follow on social media, you can find myself at Cody Baylor. That's Cody with an I. Jason at Jason Ross 1140. Damien at Damien Barling. And Chris at Sac_MCFC. Also, check us out on Facebook and search The Lowdown. Jason and Damien, back to you.
Shout out to our guy, Murph. I love Murph. One of my favorite people on earth. He's monitoring my scarves every day. So I'm rocking the purple for you, buddy. It's a full-on gimmick now. I very much did not want to wear a scarf today, but I feel like I've trapped myself in the gimmick. I've become a
Damien
character.
Scarfling.
That's not bad right there, my man.
Thank you.
That's not bad at all.
That was terrific.
That's good. Do that again.
Thanks, guys. Damien Scarfling.
I like it. The Sacramento Kings, maybe this purple will give the Kings some sort of superpower that they've been lacking here on the road. Spoiler alert, the Kings seem to suddenly suck on the road. Remember, they were really good to start the season away from the Golden One Center. They're also not particularly good on the second night of a back-to-back, though. That seems to be true for most of the league. The Toronto Raptors sat Kawhi Leonard. Apparently, Kawhi's not playing tonight either. Mm-hmm. He's going to play Friday.
They're 11-2 without him now.
Yeah, how about that?
It's incredible.
They're 25-11 with him.
Yeah, he's the problem.
Obviously, that malcontent.
Yes,
it is Kawhi Leonard.
Sitting him is obviously just the right move to win games.
They can obviously
anytime you can rest an MVP candidate, you do it.
They can obviously let him walk during this upcoming offseason. That was the 10th straight home win for the Toronto Raptors. Their longest home win streak is 12. They've done that twice. We'll see if they're able to keep that going. But 120-105, as you and the great Deuce Mason speculated, Dave Joerger did go the rest route. There was no De'Aaron Fox. There was no Nemanja Bjelica. Amon Shumpert got the load management treatment. He did not play as well. Bogdan Bogdanovic started. Marvin Bagley III made his first career start. And Yogi Ferrell played 38 minutes last night.
Yeah, I think you got to. I'm measuring this on the way the trip has been, because in 4 games on the trip, I don't think they've played well at all. They did steal a win in Detroit. But I was actually measuring it amongst the trip. This was one of the better games they've played, partly because who was out, who got opportunities, and I felt they competed and they were playing a really good team. Now, in the end, you're measured on wins and losses. It's another loss, but I feel I'm not a fan of rest. I hope that helps in some way, shape, or form for those guys for games against Memphis and the Clippers coming up and more of a grind straight ahead. But opportunities for other guys. Bogey and Yogi flirted with triple doubles, whatever that's worth, and Bagley certainly had his most productive offensive game as a pro so far.
I think it's worth noting that they were in that game for so long last night. Ultimately, they lost by 15, and like Jason said, you're measured by wins and losses, but they played better in Toronto, and now they go into a very winnable game in Memphis, and then a winnable game against the Clippers. And so you got to feel pretty good going into those games, because if they pull out 2 wins, they're 3-3 on the trip. And everything's good.
Or they lose to Memphis, and then what?
And then it's a disaster. Yeah. That's really bad.
Because Memphis is a mess right now. And the fact that you see that, I guess that's where my concern lies. If De'Aaron, I don't care as much about Nemanja sitting, because yesterday to me, stamp. Marvin Bagley is the starter moving forward, and this should not be a conversation again.
Agree.
Marvin Bagley is the starter moving forward. That's the way it should be, in my opinion. I've been preaching that for weeks, and I'm going to continue to preach it until Dave Joerger says, Marvin Bagley is our starter moving forward. Shump, we talked about him yesterday. Whatever. If De'Aaron is banged up, as we've speculated, and we've seen him play kind of up and down over the course of the last 12 games, maybe
kind of January, 12 I would say.
Games, then fine. But if you're resting him to give him an extra day headed into your game against the Memphis Grizzlies, who are in full disarray right now with trade rumors circulating around the player you fired your coach for last year, and Mike Conley, your other stud player.
Your franchise piece.
You're blowing your roster up, and you're the Sacramento Kings sitting back. You're either thinking, gosh, this would be a horrible loss Friday, or we need to take an extra precaution to make sure De'Aaron Fox is ready. Whatever it is, the team is a game and a half out of a playoff spot.
Right.
And I guess I'm just not of the mindset that the Sacramento Kings can willingly sacrifice games like that, because if you're not playing Buddy Hield, or excuse me, I'm so sorry, if you're not playing De'Aaron Fox, to me, you're sacrificing the game right there. You're willing to concede a loss if you're not playing, purposely not playing De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I guess, but I also see the idea of looking down the road where you'll sacrifice this win now if it means you're going to have a fully fresh, healthy De'Aaron Fox for Memphis.
So this one day means that much. I'm all for rest, and I'm all for load management. When you're a 60-win team year after year after year, and you're playing into the middle of the June, when you're fighting for your first playoff spot in 12 years, nah, dog.
Yeah.
And I think we may see that coming down the stretch, but you got to get those rest days in.
We're past the midway point of the season.
Totally. I'm with you, but I'm talking
I'm
talking into February and March.
Oh, okay.
But why is it De'Aaron? I mean, could you?
Because I think he's banged up. Has he looked right to you?
No, but does anybody play harder? Like, does Willie get a day off? Does Buddy plays nonstop energy, start to finish? He probably doesn't want a day off.
You might blow up King's social media if you suggest that Willie plays so hard he needs a day off.
I meant Buddy, but still. But Willie, why is it De'Aaron that needs the break?
Because I think he's hurt.
And
he's banged up.
Yeah. Let's use the term banged up and not hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, banged up.
So he's good for Friday now?
And that's my point. Like, did this game mean so much? Did this day off mean so much for De'Aaron that he's coming out blazing against the Memphis Grizzlies, who have won like 2 games since?
I think they're 4-19 in their last 23,
and that's since the start of December.
I can't remember that, but I
think
it
was near the middle of December.
Yeah, they were something like 15-9. Like
they've lost 6 straight, by the way,
and they're 4-19. I think.
And now Conley and Gasol are out there as they're also looking to make JB Bickerstaff the interim head coach again.
Yes.
just to make things more comfortable.
That's where he's better.
We'll talk more about the Sacramento Kings. Is this the first Hall of Fame class, by the way? Is this the first Hall of Fame class in a while that's more about who got in than who didn't? We'll discuss that as the drive continues here with Damien, Barling, Jason Ross, Kyle Madsen.
This is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Kings continued to stumble on their road trip last night with a 120-105 loss in Toronto. De'Aaron Fox, Nemanja Bjelica, and Iman Shumpert all sat for the Kings. Marvin Bagley was excellent in his first career start. He posted 22 points, 11 boards, and 2 blocks. Sacramento gets a couple days off now. They'll be in Memphis for a Friday night matchup with the Grizzlies. The 2019 Baseball Hall of Fame class was announced yesterday. Mariano Rivera became the first ever unanimous selection. He'll be joined by Edgar, Martinez, Mike Mussina, and the late Roy Halladay. It is 6:31. Time to get your tickets for the 7th annual Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame induction celebration, Saturday, January 26th at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Go to sacsportshof.com. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
It's time to get your tickets for Folsom's only Winter Brewfest, Saturday, January 26th. That is this Saturday. Details at tapfolsom.com. Speaking of tickets, we've got a country mega ticket coming your way. A ticket that includes tickets to see Brad Paisley, Rascal Flatts, Luke Bryan, Dierks Bentley, and Florida Georgia Line. Nothing says country mega ticket like the lowdown, and we'll have that coming for you twice today. Once at 7, once at 8. We'll remind you all throughout the day. Also, your keyword, your opportunity to qualify for the Big Game Dream Party presented by Mel Rapton Honda. Good morning to you. We thank you so much for being here with us. Dave will be back with you on Monday. You can find him on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Where apparently he never leaves. But he'll be back with you here on the radio at 6 a.m. Monday morning. Jason and I will be back to our normal time slot at noon on Monday as well. If you want to watch the program, you certainly can. You certainly should. We encourage it. Go to KHTK.com and have some fun with us there on the live stream. We're looking at the Jiffy Lube text line here at 441140. Lots of thoughts coming in on the Sacramento Kings. Got a tweet I wanted to bring to your attention as well, Jason, before we leave the Sacramento Kings. This is from our guy, Paul, the loyal listener, frequent tweeter. Paul, always great to hear from you. He says, you think Joerger is going to just hand the starting job over to a rookie like that? Speaking of the proclamation that Marvin Bagley should be the starter moving forward, isn't it rare that a vet coach just hands it over to a rookie? Adelman didn't do that with Peja. A couple of things I want to address there. If Marvin Bagley is the best player at that position that the Sacramento Kings have, he should be starting whether he's a rookie or a 10-year vet. 2, I love revisionist history among Sacramento Kings fans, and I understand that Kings fans are scarred by years and years and years of coaching changes. But let's not pretend that Kings fans didn't desperately want Rick Adelman out of here at the end.
At the end, yeah.
Stop holding Rick Adelman to this holy grail as if you didn't trash him on his way out, as if you weren't pleading for him to be fired in those final few years.
Yeah, and I can't remember back then how many, but there was many voices.
It was loud.
But by far, he's the best coach the team has ever had.
No question about it. But again,
yeah,
let's not pretend he did no wrong. Of course, he oversaw the team that was the fondest memory of older Sacramento Kings fans. But let's not pretend y'all wanted him around.
Yeah.
You did not.
I also think that Marvin Bagley it's not like he was playing 12 minutes a game and now they're going to start him. He's already finishing games. He's playing a ton of minutes. We mentioned the other day that Bjelica, I think, played, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
6 minutes?
Before.
Less, yeah.
Yeah, and then he rests the next night and Marvin Bagley goes off for 22 and 11. It's not like Bagley would just be handed this starting job. He's kind of been working his way into it, and he's earned it.
And it's time.
Yeah, and there's been subtle, not so subtle. I mean, like Kyle said, 5 minutes is what Bjelica started the other day and didn't play again. 2 straight games he hasn't started the second half, and then didn't even play yesterday. But I did some numbers on those two that I found interesting.
Okay.
Because it's always been my theory, and this isn't meant to rip Marvin at all, because I think Marvin Bagley is ready for superstardom. But it's actually more to lift up Bjelica, because I think people now have gone to he can't play. Like, it just went too extreme.
Mm-hmm.
So when Bjelica, because I think you give any quality NBA player, which is pretty much all of them, 30 minutes, you're getting stats.
Mm-hmm.
So Bjelica this year, in games where he's played 30 minutes or more, is averaging 16.5 points and 9 rebounds. That's really good. I mean, that's really, really nice.
Okay.
That's happened 10 times. They won the first 7, so there's 7-3 when Bjelica plays 30 or more minutes.
Okay.
And again, I don't know what all this means, but Marvin Bagley, yesterday, the 5th time this year, he's played more than 30 minutes. 30 minutes or more.
I don't think I would have guessed that, but okay.
He's at 19.9, so he's basically 1 point short of 20 and 10, which is great. So we're talking about 16.5 and 9, and 20 and 10. In those 5 games, the Kings are 0-5. Again, I don't know. Could be circumstance. It may not even be fair.
Okay, that's not, because that requires a little bit more digging, in my opinion, because if we look at last night, just using last night as an example, you said 5 times Marvin Bagley has played over 30 minutes. Last night, Marvin Bagley played 37 minutes. De'Aaron didn't play.
No, true.
So what do those other 4 starts look like?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Sorry, not starts. Sorry. What do those other 30-plus minute games look like?
And probably, I think one of the first 1 or 2 was like they were getting crushed, and it was a chance for him to play some minutes. So I did it more so to compare, hey, look, a guy's getting 30 minutes. Look what happened when Marvin Bagley got 30 minutes. Wow, he's 20 and 10. Wait a minute. When Bielitsa gets 30 minutes, he's 16.5 and 9.
Yeah.
So, and then I just went, okay, what were the records in those games? 7-3 and then 0-5. Again, I don't know if there's a bigger story there, because I think Bagley is going to be permanently a 20 and 10 guy in this league when he gets that opportunity.
If I had a yellow flag, I'd throw it. I would say that's deceitful use of statistics. Or if I was a
it's
judge,
not the final 2 minutes. You do not get an opportunity, and you're out of challenges.
There's still like 2.5 hours left in this show.
How
it is
am I
not
out
the
of
final 2
challenges?
minutes.
Did I throw? I didn't throw.
It's actually non-reviewable.
You also said yellow flag. That's just a penalty. He's not challenging it. He's just saying you did something illegal.
So we went from flags to penalties to
You said yellow flag.
Yeah, that's not a
You're
challenge.
penalizing
Yeah,
him
what-
for his use of stats.
personal foul. Jason Ross.
What about just the 30-minute one? Forget the record one. That was just an extra little
The
nugget.
30-minute, I think, is. I think that's interesting.
Because Bielitsa lately has barely. So the numbers look bad. I go, gosh, he hasn't done anything. I go, wait a minute. Look when he plays 30 minutes.
But even if we take that, aren't Bagley's numbers still better?
Yes, they are a little bit.
Again,
A little,
and
though.
So, well, fine. Does it have to be monumentally better for him to start?
No.
Isn't he is Nemanja Bjelica the future?
No.
Is Marvin Bagley?
Yes.
And if I'm remembering correctly, didn't Bielitsa start the season just incredibly hot?
Yeah.
And he's tailed off since then, kind of regressing more towards the mean.
Nationally recognized as the best free agent pickup in terms of a bargain across the league the first 14, 20 games of the season.
But again, maybe it's back to, and I could look this up again, the minutes. So was he playing 30 early and the stats were there, and now he's not?
I don't feel like his maybe that's worth
so
looking into.
So then we're going to,
maybe
wait a minute, look what he was doing. Well,
I don't think his minutes dropped from like 28 to 20 immediately following the first 20 or something games of the season.
Yeah. It's a lot less.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it certainly feels that way now, but his struggles didn't just start. Like, his struggles have been there for a while, or maybe it's perceived struggles. I don't know. We'll research this more. That's
all
what we
that
do.
being
We
said,
research.
I think Marvin should be in there. I just thought it was interesting that here we are at this point. I just feel like people think now they've just totally flipped on Bielitsa. Like, I don't even know what he does for this team. It's like, wait a minute. Look when he was given those opportunities. But here, since January, just some real fast. Since January, 16 minutes, 25, 16, 21, 19, 14, and 4.
Give that to me one more time.
Since January, 16 minutes, 25 minutes, 16 minutes, 21, 19, 14, 4. That's down.
Kyle?
Wait, are you talking about Bielitsa?
Mm-hmm.
He had his first 3 games in January. He played over 30 minutes.
In January?
Yeah. Against Portland, Denver, and the Warriors, he played more than 30 minutes in each of those games.
You're looking at Bielitsa.
Yes. January 1st against Portland.
Is there another Bielitsa?
I don't know what I'm...
No. 2018-19 game log.
I'm looking at the same thing.
Well, no wonder.
1-1-2019. Is that January 1st, 2019? Am I losing it?
Against whom?
Portland.
I can't wait to see how this gets resolved.
Yeah.
Which one of you is looking at the wrong log?
It's probably me then.
Heyo. Okay. You guys work that out. You guys figure this out. I'm going to go to the text line here.
I don't think Bielitsa's struggles have to do with the number of minutes he's playing. And I think Marvin Bagley, by watching and statistically, is a more impactful player. Can we all agree on that?
Yes.
Okay. Hooray.
Yeah.
We did it.
Okay. I'm still confused what you two are looking at, though.
I see where the cutoff. I screwed up. I know where Kyle's talking about. I was looking at it was starting January 8th because there was a cutoff on this line.
I see.
But,
I got you.
Yeah, I see what Kyle's talking about. But those are the 3 games that they lost when Bielitsa played 30 minutes. They had won the first 7.
Okay.
So the last 3 times.
I gotcha. Okay. Jiffy Lube text line 441140. This one, I think you misremember. I believe this was referring to Rick Adelman. I vividly remember the Maloofs being the goons they were and wanting him out, screaming at him from the Arco's court and other nonsense. I'm not sure what that means. Not sure you've been in Sac the entire time the Kings have been here, but I have. Well, that's cute. Dude, I was born and raised here. I was here for the Sacramento Kings. Please stop with that garbage. You guys ran Rick Adelman out of here. Knock it off. Stop with this nonsense of revisionist history. You did not want Rick Adelman here. You were screaming he can't win you a championship. You are pointing to his failures in Portland. Stop this. It's okay to acknowledge that you didn't want him here, but stop painting him as this saint. That you got to measure everything against Rick Adelman. No, you do it against the years that you liked Rick Adelman, because immediately following that Western Conference final, when you realized we might not ever get back there, you wanted Rick Adelman out of here. Stop.
Not a saint.
And please don't use the argument that I'm born and raised here, player. Knock it off.
Yeah. Not a saint. He's a king.
It's a great point.
Oh, there he goes. KHTK.com. Don't miss Jason. Don't miss Jason's work with the camera. We'll go back to this Facebook question. We're getting some interesting responses. Ones that I thought we'd get. Mariano Rivera, the first unanimous Hall of Famer inductee. Where does Mariano Rivera?
Who?
Can you edit that from the live broadcast?
Yep.
Where does Mariano Rivera rank amongst the greatest baseball players of all time? Not pitchers. Not relievers. Where does he rank amongst the greatest baseball players of all time? We'll continue that discussion next. You want to watch the program live? We got to step up our commercial break game. Little activities during the commercial break.
Okay.
People just see us
Want to play cards?
scrambling. Oh, that's a good idea.
You guys hanging in there and then scrambling is 100% more than what normally happens at breaks. So,
Larry Fitzgerald is returning to the Arizona Cardinals next year. He's 36 years old. Is he older than Cliff Kingsbury?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. By far?
By a couple years, yeah.
Okay. Kingsbury 34?
4. Yeah.
Ichiro, who's older, I think, than everybody, is also returning to the Seattle Mariners. Not to the Cardinals.
Didn't he retire?
If he did, he's not. He's back.
Interesting.
Seattle. He's back in Seattle.
He's got to wait on the Hall of Fame.
It's a minor league deal. I think it's so he can play in Japan. Makes sense.
That makes sense for sure. That's
opening. Cool. Yeah, good stuff there. But yeah, Larry Fitzgerald will be back. That was a interesting question here with Cliff Kingsbury coming in, and another note that Adam Schefter tweeted is he's going to be there to help Josh Rosen along.
Oh, not Kyler Murray?
So, dude, there's a coach out there that is starting, I think, to foam at the mouth over Kyler Murray. You might be familiar with him. I think
sure. Rick Adelman?
I think he. Nice.
Tell you what, man.
I think he loves that guy.
Yeah.
He loves that guy. We'll explain as we move along here, talking football a little bit, some fallout from championship weekend. The Kansas City Chiefs fired their defensive coordinator, Bob Sutton. No word on whether they're going to follow Cody Baylor's advice and hire Tony Romo to be the defensive coordinator. But Bob Sutton is out after a disastrous fourth quarter and overtime against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I know that was Cody's suggestion as a replacement, but I also heard it mentioned that Romo's the one that probably got him fired. Right?
Well,
I mean, just based on what his beautiful work was on the final drive.
How did he know that and we didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, very possible. Remember, by the way, for those who don't understand, Romo gets access that Bob Sutton does not get. Romo's in practices with them. Romo can get intel from them. Yeah. Romo I don't know how much Belichick or McDaniels or any of those guys are actually giving him. A lot of that is probably just his film study as a former quarterback. But I think putting all the blame on Bob Sutton for what Tony Romo was able to do from a broadcast booth is a bit unfair.
Also, Bob Sutton didn't get fired because of one game. The Chiefs' defense was terrible all year. Yeah. If they even have
D Ford lines up onside, he's not fired.
They win the coin flip.
They win the coin flip, and Patrick Mahomes, the greatest quarterback that ever existed, gets the ball first. He doesn't get fired. He's not getting fired.
He might, dude.
No,
If they lose
really,
the
you're
next
firing him headed into the Super Bowl.
Well, no.
Well, not this week.
But even a Super Bowl win, he might.
I think it's something they assess in the offseason because even as if they have the 25th ranked defense instead of 31st, they're
D Ford lines up
Bowl.
onside. They end the AFC Championship with an interception.
Right.
A defensive play. You're suggesting he still might be fired after the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Defense.
Did you watch them all year?
What's wrong with the Chiefs? Like, what's a flaw?
Well, I understand it's the defense.
Right.
Uh-huh.
I understand that. You just won the Super Bowl.
If they win, maybe it's not. But getting there and losing, if they give up a ton
fine.
of points.
Let's say you lose the Super Bowl. You ended the AFC Championship against the New England Patriots with an interception.
Mm-hmm.
You still believe he could be fired.
Yes.
I find that to be okay. What do I know?
Hey, how many coaches have to win Coach of the Year, things like that? They get fired. It happens. That's a weakness.
That's
from that
not
team.
a Super Bowl. That's not
Right?
beating the Patriots.
But I don't think anyone would suggest that the reason the Chiefs won the Super Bowl was their defense.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, they shut down C.J. Anderson, something no one has been able to do in the Super Bowl.
And he won't either.
Yeah, no one will. Yeah, no one. No, I don't think anyone's going to shut down. C.J. Anderson is going to wind up being the Super Bowl MVP. Like, how crazy is that?
There's going to be some money on that for sure.
I'd bet against it.
I wouldn't.
You're on.
Have you watched C.J. Anderson?
Yeah.
Should we place our own prop bets?
Oh, I'm all the way in for this. There's a big whiteboard in Jason's office. We can write them down on.
But is there a blackboard? Is there an equality board in Jason's office where we have to write down on both of them?
No, my road office.
Oh, there it is. There it is. We asked you on Facebook, where does Mariano Rivera rank amongst the greatest baseball players of all time? Now, the wording of that is important because we didn't preface this as the greatest pitcher, the greatest reliever. We're asking you, where does Mariano Rivera rank amongst the greatest baseball players of all time? We have that question posted up on Facebook, on the Lowdown Facebook page. We'd love you to go over and interact with that. I know many of you are either wrapping up your shift at work or you're getting ready to head out to the office. When you're ready to kill time, go to Facebook. That's what we do. We kill time at work on social media. Go to the Lowdown's Facebook page. Most of the responses so far are the same. Jose says players overall, top 50. Pitchers overall, top 20. He is the greatest relief pitcher ever. It's not the question. Where does he rank amongst the greatest baseball players of all time?
Did he say top 50?
He did initially.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it? Top 50?
I can rock with that.
Top 50. So are we excluding him because of his specialized work?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
He can't be considered. Mariano.
That's like asking where Ray Guy lands on the all-time great football players.
Huh.
Like
I want to come back to this.
What he does is super important. I'm not doubting that, but he was pitched 1 or 2 innings a game. I mean,
yeah. And in all the conversations I've ever heard about greatest baseball players, I don't think I've ever heard a pitcher mentioned.
No.
Let's come back to this. Fire Wings Hotline. Try one of the delicious 21 flavors of wings today. Fire Wings, just wing it. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. From Fire Wings to Fire Pits. It's time to hang by the fire pits with your crew at Folsom's Winter Brewfest this Saturday. Details at tapfolsom.com. We'll get back to this Facebook question. We'll talk more about the Sacramento Kings and what DeMarcus Cousins' returns means for the Golden State Warriors. We've got that coming up. Here's The Drive. Continues on Sports 1140.